We're here today from the Occupational Therapy Show. I'm Matt Govett, the event director, and I'm delighted that we're joined by Moya McFadden, brand strategist for Mistu Shower Systems, and Kelley Monks, heading up PR and comms for Mistu as well. Really to talk about how excited we are that Mistu are on board for this year's show as a new company in the occupational therapy sector. Really to find out lots more about what all our visitors can expect to find out about Mistu when we're on site at the show on the 26th and 27th of November in a few weeks' time. So I'll hand over to the ladies from Mistu first, just to give us a brief introduction to the company and the products, and then we can go from there.
Hi, thanks, Matt. My name's Kelley Monks, and I am overseeing marketing and PR for Mistu. So basically, Mistu Shower Infuser was invented by a medical doctor when he saw the issues that people with mobility issues and limb difference had while in the shower, juggling bottles, opening things, bending and stretching. So he invented this very clever device that can be fitted with no plumber. It can be fitted within about 5 minutes into your shower, attached to your water, and you, with one flick or mouth or limb or nod, you can change to infuse it with your shampoo or shower gel and then back to clean water. So from so that's basically what the Mistu shower infuser is.
Great. Well, that certainly sounds like there's plenty to talk about there, and you can already see how that's going to be a hugely valuable addition to the product mix in the sector. So from your point of view, why would you say that occupational therapists matter?
I'm going to take that question, Matt, if I may.
Of course.
I think, OTs play a crucial role in helping people stay independent in a daily life, so showering can be the hardest task and yet the most rewarding, effortless and dignified way that they can actually kick in their independence. And where traditional setups often rely on somebody else doing it, or having that huge mental, emotional upheaval and overwhelm and frustration before even going into the shower. Mistu gives this the practical, easy tool for them to actually get in, do whatever they need to do, and removes the barriers and restores that dignity for them. So that small change can make a huge difference in terms of confidence. Adapting to whatever they're adapting to, whether that's, recovering from injuries, recovering from strokes, recovering from an operation, a huge operation, or leading life differently because of other limitations. Yeah. So that, from an ET perspective, or from an OT perspective, coming from a Skills for Life conference in Houston, Texas, there 2 weeks ago, where I met many OTs. They're a huge catalyst in the healing process, in the health journey and the life changes and supporting those life changes for people. So, encouraging their patients, clients to take control of their own health and explore the focus of what they can do with adaptive equipment can actually support them in their journey through physio and so on and so forth. So
fantastic.
What I noticed, OTs saying hugely in the show recently in the States was that a lot of patients would miss their appointments because they don't have the energy to give, or the lack of confidence, independence, all of that kind of thing. And they also know the efforts involved in it. However, they struggle with sweat, perspiration, skin issues and so on and so forth. So Mistu we see is a game changer there.
So there's clearly huge scope on a lot of levels with the product, both in terms of support that's delivered by OTs, but ultimately, which is the central pillar here, which is for the well-being, physical well-being, mental well-being, psychology of the patient. In terms of innovation and design, I mean, I know Kelley, you touched on it very briefly at the beginning, but what are some of the innovative features in the system that you feel directly address the challenges day to day that you've heard about patients sort of finding beneficial?
Okay, well, I mean, really, the main thing is the simplicity of the unit itself. It's extremely easy to fit. I am not technical, I am not a plumber, and I put it in my own shower to try it in about 2 minutes. I actually use it to wash my dog because he tries to get out the minute I let one arm go to get shampoo. So that's how I use it. But the innovation is that it is a kind of a one turn process once the chamber with the mix is in the unit itself, so people can use it. There's also an adaptable what would you call it, Moya,
Ergonomic.
like the ergonomic handles on it, so it can be used with stumps. We have a bilateral amputee client who uses his stumps to turn it on and off. It can be used by mouth, it can be used by head, it can be used by nose. The unit can be placed at different levels on the wall. So if somebody is coming in a wheelchair rather than with a bilateral limb difference, it can all be lowered down to help with those with them.
Okay.
So really the simplicity of it and the ease, it doesn't need any plumbers, it doesn't need electricians, it just is really plug and play for somebody to fit
Fantastic.
it within a few minutes, which also makes it easier for anyone who is assisting with showering, occupational therapists, carers, home carers, because they can actually safely infuse the water without having to balance a person and support them, and also try and undo bottles and put them together and things like that. So really, simplicity is the innovation in the design.
Fantastic. Well, that again, and I think that will resonate with occupational therapists when they're thinking of the different needs they have for their patients. Moya.
Yeah.
Just to add to that, like, something as practical as what we take for granted, when we're traveling outside of our own current home, we take for granted that we can actually reach things, that we can actually, reach the shower head, reach the shampoo, conditioner, shower gel that's available in hotels. And what we walked away with 2 weeks ago was, a top-notch hotel in the industry not being suitable to cater for people with limited mobility. With Mistu, you can travel with it. It can be mounted two ways. It can be mounted with Velcro, or it can be mounted with screws permanently in your current fixture. So when you take that into consideration, it actually enables the person to leave their homes and take the unit with them and still be able to take care of themselves holistically.
Which is a huge step towards greater freedom day to day, and be able to get out there. In terms of let's call it real world impact, I mean, it's great hearing about the development of the products, the functionality of it, how you feel occupational therapists will be able to put it in place with many of their patients. I mean, what's the real world examples can you give of where it's been really transformative for particular people?
Well, I know today won't give the duty of care of all the lives that we've transformed to date with Mistu, but if I can kind of call out maybe three that we spoke of recently, which is Patrick, Tracy, and Eric. Tracy lives with dystonia and Parkinson's. Patrick lives with strokes since he was like 1.5 years old. He's paralyzed down on one side of his body. And Eric, who is a bilateral upper amputee based in the States. And really, fundamentally, they struggled with the frustration, the overwhelm, and the build-up of emotions before they even went into the shower, thinking that, oh, is today the day that I'm going to slip? Is today the day that something's going to go wrong and I need to ask for help? So, to lessen the complications of movement, to lessen the complications of opening bottles, there are things that we take for granted day in, day out, and to restore somebody's independence, boost their confidence and well-being, it means a lot for people that, as a minor adaptation in their current setup can really, restore that independence, that confidence. But also it can restore the amount of times that they actually get into the shower. So we see that a lot of our users, particularly these three mentioned, they're now showering twice, 3 times a day, as opposed to once a week.
Yeah.
So, you
It's a
know,
huge step change.
holistically, like even from like a skin issue, you know, there's a lot of sores, there's a lot of angry skin sweats and stuff like that with Eric, who lives in the States, who's like always in humidity. You know, it's a holistic approach to care, self-care, like, you know. So, you know, when you can transform someone's daily routine and be able to wash away their worries down the plug hole, literally, and they can actually have that moment of 10 minutes just to be with themselves, and to increase that independence, it's just, it makes a real game changer for everybody.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think, sorry, if I can follow up with that, with
course.
Eric. I mean, he described to us when he first bought the unit and we got in touch with him, and he described to us all the gizmos that he had tried to invent himself over the past 20 to 40 years. He lost his limbs in an electrical accident when he was in his 20s, and he has stumps about this long. And he told us that he had to use these 3 scrubbing brushes attached to the wall that he would have to move his body up and down against, and have someone squeeze the detergent or the soap or the shower gel over these, which created skin irritations and everything else for him. So from his point of view, it just makes showering much more dignified and less technically challenging than it used to be for him. So it was really, really wonderful actually to hear him describe Mistu as a game changer for him. And he's introduced it to other people in the amputee community over where in the States now. So it's wonderful to see from that point of view. It's just making things much easier and less painful for people to shower on their own. Yeah, or with carers, with their family as well.
And yeah, as you say, come across from what both of you said, coupled with the massive improvement to dignity and leading to well-being and more sense of freedom. I mean, you can see where the clear advantages are here, and they you know, it's absolutely right that those are highlighted. In turning our attention towards Mistu being on board as an exhibitor, but also as part of our speaking program at the show. Let's look at things from an exhibitor perspective as well. You know, we're bringing together a really engaged, really powerful audience of occupational therapists and case managers at the show. I mean, what, from your point of view, what are you most looking forward to in terms of your 2 days of exhibiting?
I'll go first, I guess. I'm thrilled that we're heading over to across the pond to connect with therapists and professionals who really put patient care at the heart of everything, and who deeply care about the independence and inclusiveness of how do we do it. Yeah. So we're a gang of expert people in our own domain, but collectively that's a powerful force, and where we can actually capitalize on this kind of experience out in society for people, because the healthcare, we need to collectively work together to try and actually support people better. So when I look at the exhibitor experience that we had for Skills for Life, which is a non-profit organization in the US that helps individuals from all over the world who are living with limitations of some degree. When you look at that and you look at kids being born with no limbs and, upper limbs or lower limbs, they roll as part of their way to thrive in the world. You look at people that have gone sepsis. 90% of the attendees in that exhibition was as a result of sepsis.
Right. Okay.
For different backgrounds. And then, like as Kelley said, electrocution, through a job. there's so many required needs for us to get together as case managers, as OTs, to understand what that roadmap is for like caring for. And that's not even tapping into nursing home, rehab, or hospitals. Yeah. So holistically, from a home care down to the other professions, strategically, I'm excited to be part of the team in validating behind what we need to reassess the need in relation to navigating the fundamental healthcare solutions for different areas. Yeah.
Fantastic. And in terms of just as a parallel to that, because I think, as we've said, a key part for you of the exhibiting experience is also having the stage time in the theatre to present in the way that you're going to. I mean, in terms of looking at that session specifically in the context of what you've both brilliantly described today, I mean, what can visitors look forward to learning there and taking away with them from that session?
Well, our focus really for the session is to showcase how simply innovations can transform patient care. So starting off with like real stories, demonstrating how Mistu can actually create a big part of that journey and support that journey, and explore how therapists can use the technologies to promote that independence and dignity throughout the patient care needs. Yeah. Again, from an OT feedback in Houston, the majority of OTs mentioned that the end-to-end journey is crucial for the adaptiveness required in supporting their care into thriving in the world. Yeah. And we find that water-based solution, showering independently, simply, dignified and intact actually supports that. So we're delighted to bring that innovation forward at the OT show.
Well, we're delighted that you'll be there in lots of different capacities to convey all of those hugely important messages, but also what from the way you've described things and the feedback you've had so far is a what should prove to be a hugely useful and valuable and much needed product within the overall mix. I suppose to wrap up, it's always useful to look ahead, beyond the confines of the 2 days of the show. I mean, in a nutshell, what trends, given your perspective on the market, the people you're talking to, what trends do you see sort of shaping the future of adaptive design, accessible bathroom design, and where do you feel Mistu will fit into that view?
Yeah, I'll take this one first. I think trend-wise, I think from a sustainability point of view, because it actually reduces the amount of water you're using, it can remove the plastic bottles, etc. You can use dry powder to put into the reservoir to actually mix up as well. So from an environmental point of view and a sustainability point of view, we're really passionate about that. And Dr. Majid Suleiman, who is the inventor, he is very passionate about the environmental end of things. I think we are always going to learn and consistently learn from professionals, from occupational therapists, from end users, from caregivers at home and in residential care facilities, to see how we can improve things as we go, trying to keep the costs down as low as possible so it is affordable for people, and continuing to make it as easy as possible to install, to post, to set up, to use for everyone, whether it be somebody with a limb difference, whether it be somebody with an inner ear infection so that they have balance issues and faint, whether it's somebody like my father who has rheumatoid arthritis who can hardly twist bottles anymore. So I mean, there's so many areas that we're still learning as we go, and that I think from the OT show, what both Moya and myself are really looking forward to doing is engaging with occupational therapists to gain more experience, to gain what they might want to see that we might not have even thought about yet, because we're extremely open to building and improving and moving this product on, and the accessories that will be coming after it, as well as the ergonomic handle design. But we want to make this as easy as possible for every end user and every caregiver that is going to utilize it.
Fantastic. Well, I think hopefully at the show with the platforms that you've got and the expertise that you're bringing on, and the case study experience that you've got, the real world experience of users, there's a real strong mix of advice and guidance and ideas that you can bring in conversation to all the occupational therapists that you'll be meeting. There'll be plenty of feedback, I'm sure, from OTs, like you've just suggested, Kelley. Moya, what you were referring to earlier about what else you can learn, how else you can develop the Mistu offering, and really elevate it and embed it in the market. Well, ladies, thank you both very much. That was extremely insightful. I'm sure it'll prove extremely valuable for our audience, and we very much look forward to Mistu participating in the show on the 26th and 27th of November. Thanks very much.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. Thanks so much, Matt, for giving us the time. And if anyone of the OTs that are there feel like coming up and giving any suggestions or having a chat, we'd really love to. We will both be there, so we'd really love to chat to anyone who we can kind of learn from.
Fantastic. Thank you both very much.
Thank you, Matt.